Josh, the founder of the Accountability Group, and hi, I'm Josh, vigilantly fighting the diseases of addiction and mental health. Today we'll be going through some of the readings, and I'll be sharing my experience, strength, and hope. And if you've watched these videos enough, you'll know that I don't really spend much time on my experience, because if you're watching this or you've sat in these rooms, you've earned this chair. So you know what the experiences are like. So we'll start off with the Daily Stoic. Today is day 9th in this part of the matrix because I'm in the process of moving. I realized I said that I wasn't going to repeat that too many times moving forward, but for those of you who just start watching this and haven't realized that I'm moving, I probably should at least give it a one-liner. So that's my one-liner. I'm going to be moving by August 29th, and I'm playing catch up right now. So that's why the dates will be a little bit off. Once you see them, eventually we'll be back on track, because I'm the one who manages YouTube's The Accountability Group. I'm the one who manages, you're talking directly to me, to the founder, our Twitter, which is tag Building Hope, and you're talking directly to me on our Instagram, which is tag Recovery. Everything else I have my marketers do with Instagram, with Facebook, with TikTok, Snapchat, all the other stuff, LinkedIn. I have them take care of that because that's more informational, or from the aspect of like what are fun things you can do in recovery, like fun things that you can still do while sober, whereas I find these to be more supportive and informational, because I've actually been through this and been through the ringer multiple times, that these three platforms are my venue. And then this is my opportunity to speak directly to you, and you get to actually see the person behind the Twitter account and the Instagram account. You actually get to see the person who you're talking to when you're on Twitter or Instagram. And the best hashtags, by the way, on Twitter are hashtag recoveryposse and hashtag odaat, which stands for one day at a time. That's just for you new people. If you've already been a part of the communities on Twitter, then you know what I'm talking about. There's millions of us strong. So, and there's also millions struggling in silence, which is why the Accountability Group, and myself in particular, putting myself out there like this, is to try and help alleviate the stigmatization that exists in Western society, and especially in the United States, of individuals who are considered to be addicts or have mental health issues. We're a protected class according to the AMA, and the DSM-5 has a list of all the different things that people can suffer from. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, and now that I've rambled enough, fortunately August 9th reading out of the Daily Stoic is short, so this video won't be crazy long. It'll just be that first half of me rambling and giving you information. So the Daily Stoic, August 9th. Stick with just the facts. Don't tell yourself anything more than what the initial impressions report. It's been reported to you that someone is speaking badly about you. This is the report. The report wasn't that you've been harmed. I see that my son is sick, but not that his life is at risk. So always stay within your first impressions and don't add to them in your head. This way nothing can happen to you. Marcus Aurelius Meditations. At first, this can seem like the opposite of everything you've been taught. Don't we cultivate our minds and critical thinking skills precisely so we don't simply accept things at face value? Yes, most of the time. But sometimes this approach can be counterproductive. What a philosopher also has is the ability, as Nietzsche put it, to stop courageously at the surface and see things in plain, objective form. Nothing more, nothing less. Yes, Stoics are superficial, he said, out of profundity. Today, while other people are getting carried away, that's what you're going to practice. A kind of straightforward pragmatism, seeing things as their initial impression make them. Wow, I really love that one, because I'm a type A, OCD, ADHD, like Campbell Soup acronym, highly competitive type of person. But I'm also wildly overthinker. So it could be like the smallest issue, like in this example, someone talking bad about me. I say some of the worst stuff that I've ever said to someone, and it's always to myself. So no matter like the worst thing anybody could come up with to say bad about me, trust me, I've said probably 1,000,000 times worse than whatever you're about ready to say to me in my own head. But that's something that happens with me sometimes. So I have to like take a step back and just be like, okay, all I know is that this is a piece of information and that's a fact, but I don't really know anything else that lies beyond it. And that's why there's like all of these issues with depression and anxiety. And with anxiety, you kind of like, you suffer twice, right? You suffer because something's unknown. Somebody was saying something bad about me. I don't know what it is, so I'm running through the list of all my bad qualities and negative traits. So that causes suffering, and it leads to anxiety. And then you find out what the thing is, and you know you're suffering two ways. And then you finally find out what the quote unquote bad thing is. And then once you find out what that bad thing is, you extrapolate off of that and expand upon it of like how all of these other bad things are related to this one bad thing, or it might not even be as bad as you think it is. It can be something that can be course corrected now that you know. It could be a learning experience, because life and our higher power will definitely throw that at us, whether we're in the early stages of sobriety or have decades under our belt. Life just works that way. So we just need to focus on the 24 hours in front of us and be grateful that we're still alive, because there are many of us that are not. There are millions of us that unfortunately have succumbed to these diseases of addiction and mental health, unfortunately. So, you know, like I've always said, I would never wish this upon my worst enemy. I wouldn't want anybody to have to go through the stuff that I've been through, the stuff that my sponsor's been through, the stuff that my grand sponsor's been through. So, you know, we all have our own stories, and we all have our own roads to recovery, and we all have our own paths, and we have our own sobriety that we have to manage. So I'm only in control of my actions, my thoughts, and my behaviors. And then I just have to figure out how to, you know, best use that knowledge to navigate life in a healthy manner and put on glasses or perspective of positivity. And until I know as much information as possible, I just take things at face value, you know. That's all I can do. My goal is to maintain my sobriety for these 24 hours. That's it. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow isn't promised. Focus on today. What can I do today to be a better version of myself than I was yesterday, while setting myself up to be a better version of myself tomorrow than I am today? That's it. That's all I can do. I know it sounds simple, but that's why they say that these programs are simple programs for complicated people. We are very good at taking things down the rabbit hole and making a mountain out of a molehill, or making a really small issue into a big dramatic ordeal. So I would highly, highly recommend and hope for you to just take things at face value, and remember, you know, to try and stay positive, see the good things in life, be grateful for all the things that you have around you. The fact that you're even watching this, you probably have a smartphone, or you're watching it on a computer, which means that, you know, you have the resources to have a ridiculously expensive smartphone, or you have shelter, or you have both, but like you have electricity and you have the capabilities to be watching this video. So for all of you, I just hope that you don't go through those early stages that I went through a while ago, where, gosh, if anything was bad, it was catastrophic. It was, you know, code red, like the nukes were about ready to be fired. Like it was very dramatic. And, you know, I was very dramatic. Now I'm much, you know, chiller. You know, I always seem chill on the outside anyway. Like even right now, relatively chill is what people would say, but internally, it's an emotional wreck. I'll be completely honest with you. But there's a reason I have a therapist and a psychiatrist. Like, yeah, I got stuff I have to work on. So with that, I will tell you that you'll be speaking directly to me on YouTube, but I would really love to have people with time under their belt and newcomers build a community that holds one another accountable, sharing their strength, experience, and their experience, strength, and hope, sharing their new experiences, their day one experiences, their 1 month experiences, what's working, what's not working, and then the people who have had time underneath their belts, explaining what worked for them, how they got to where they are, and how they stayed within the guardrails and stayed on their journey and their path and their road to recovery, because it's just really one day at a time. So on Twitter, we are tag, or I am tag building hope. On Instagram, it is tag recovery, and on YouTube, obviously, it's the accountability group. But you know, if you're on Twitter and you're looking for a community, I really recommend going to the search section or explore section and hitting hashtag recoveryposse or hashtag odaat, which is 1 day at a time, and you will find millions of us spread out all throughout the world, because there are millions strong that are experiencing a lot of the same things that you're experiencing, and you will, oddly enough, find some people that are in the exact same spot that you're at. So don't feel like you need to struggle in silence or hide in the shadows. Please share. And that's part of the reason that I even created this company and created this social venture, the accountability group, is because there are millions just struggling in silence who aren't getting the help and the care that they need because of the stigmatization of being an addict, of having mental health issues. I put that in quotes because the media tends to portray people like myself as like a junkie and you know, someone who's schizophrenic or bipolar, or you know, has all of these terrible thoughts and is a horrible human being. Like, that's what I used to think. But in reality, I have a crazy long list of accomplishments that are pretty easy to find, and most people are really surprised when they find out that I am in recovery and that I suffer from the diseases of addiction and mental health, because you know, they just judge a book by its cover. But the reality is I've slept under bridges. I've done some crazy stuff. Like, I'm not gonna get too much into the experience stuff, like I said, but when I say like my life is a derailed train heading at a nuclear reactor that's melting down, and a 747 that's on fire is crashing into it, like, that's a metaphor, but I'm not like figuratively speaking. Like, I literally have rolled the dice on the precipice of the abyss and looked into the darkness of the abyss, and the abyss has looked back and it says, Josh, you might have gotten lucky this time, but if you keep playing at it like this, you've done 2 of the 3 things. You've done jails and institutions. There's only one thing left, and if I did that, you wouldn't even be watching this video. So I think, you know, stick with just the facts, take things for face value, and please subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and you know, collaborate and share in the comment section, and let's try and build a community that helps one another stay sober. So that's my goal for the day. It's just to stay sober for today. I'm not worried about yesterday and the past, and the future isn't promised, so I just need to stay sober today. So with that, I'm Josh, the founder of the Accountability Group. I am Josh, and I am still vigilantly battling the diseases of addiction and mental health. So stay safe out there, okay? Thanks.